Hello learners, in today's session we will understand the concept of organizational design structures. To better understand the topic organizational behavior, because before starting this unit, let's have a quick recap of the previous unit as both these units are interrelated. So in the previous unit we studied about the organization structure. We studied the factors which these organization take care of when they design their structure, why structure is important, and what is the role of the elements of structure which organization should pay attention to. So we studied several structures like designing a job and departmentalization and establishing a relationship of reporting, that is designing hierarchy. So all these elements we studied. Here in this unit, we will understand what are the different types of traditional and modern organization structure that we witness today. So management is a century old, 2 century old I should say, concept. It started with the start of Industrial Revolution. In those times, scientific theory of management took place. Frederick Taylor for the first time used the term management for business, used the term science for business. So in those days, the way the organization used to function, the kind of jobs they had, the roles, responsibilities were designed in a very different manner because the requirement of that time was entirely different from today's requirement. Today in modern times, the technology advancement has taken place. Information, communication and technology has revolutionized the way the businesses are done today. If you have a meeting in America, you don't have to take a flight and go to America. You can have that meeting sitting in India, just a click away from internet. So this has shortened the distance between this political boundary distance, geographic distance between the companies, and this has widened many at many level the scope of business. There are social changes taking place. The customer needs and preferences are changing because the customer is more educated now. The customer, thanks to ICT, is more aware and informed today, and that is why the firms are going to different countries. They are converting from national to multinational organization, but the requirement of the firm as to what kind of structure it want to have depends on many aspects. So there were traditional organization structures which were used in 18th century, 19th century, and now in 21st century we have a modern organization structure also, which we are witnessing around us. The new digital era of business, the e-commerce platform, has brought in the changes in the traditional forms of structuring the organization, and that resulted into these modern types. So let's begin. So the organization structure is basically how work is delegated throughout the organization. Speaking of the traditional organization structure, it is a structure which follows a system in which power flows upwards through the organization and all the employees follow a chain of command. So it goes from top to bottom. The traditional organization chart may look like a pyramid. This chief executive officer, CEO, he would sit at the top, and the layer underneath him would consist of managers, department managers, who will report to the CEO and oversee the overall operation of their department. Next would be the first line managers or the supervisors, the staff managers actually, who will manage the daily operation of their department or teams, and below them are the non-management employees who report to them. So we've studied this traditional organization chart in the previous unit, which is very simple. Now there are several traditional types of organization structure. The first one is functional structure. It is one of the common structure which we can see even today also. It is also known as bureaucratic organization structure, and it breaks up the company based on the specialization of its workforce. So most small to medium sized businesses use this type of structure, because in this structure, on the basis of different functions performed by the management, the departmentalization is done. So the whole firm is divided into departments on the basis of different functions. So these departments are called marketing, sales, operations, and a bureaucratic organization structure is followed. What are the advantages of this structure? There are many advantages, like the team leader has the knowledge and experience of that particular field. For example, the person heading the IT department will have the education and skill necessary to shoulder the responsibility and successfully run his team. Because the employee has expertise in that particular field, the work is more efficient and precise. There are fewer mistakes. This also helps with the motivation of the employees of the company. Since all the team members come from similar background, it allows them to share ideas and come up with solutions. There is a sharing of knowledge which is always beneficial. And one more advantage, the employees also having a clear idea of the hierarchy of the firm, and they need not report or answer to several managers. So these are the advantages. Now every coin has two faces, and functional structure also has some disadvantages, like the work can be one dimensional, as the employees are supposed to perform a task based on one process only. So after a while, the employees may start feeling monotonous, they may get bored, and the lack of new challenges can make them unenthusiastic for the job at hand. Also, in this structure, the manager must take care of the appraisal system. If the correct approach is not taken, then conflict arises between the employees regarding the promotion or appraisal. Also, this form of organization requires a high degree of specialization, which is difficult to establish. If there is a necessary change of personnel, it can disrupt the whole system and its balance. Also, it is quite a rigid structure, not leaving a lot of scope for adaptation. See, since it is the bureaucratic system, so everything goes by the rules and regulations written by or formulated by the top management. Everyone has to follow those procedures, and no changes or flexibility in those procedures. So because of this, the monotony takes place, employees' productivity may hamper, and because of this rigid structure, if in case the CEO leaves the organization, then it disrupts the whole system and it is imbalanced, because he was the one who was guiding the line managers and further guiding the staff managers. So these are the disadvantages of functional structure. Let's move on to the next one, divisional or multi-divisional structure. Functional structure was mostly seen with middle companies, mid-sized companies, but divisional or multi-divisional structure is seen in large companies which has many business units. A company that uses this method structure its leadership team based on the product, project, subsidiaries they operate. So basically these divisions are made on the basis of different products a company is handling or different projects a company is handling. So different project is a different division. Now, good example of this structure is Johnson and Johnson company. Under this company, there are thousands of products and product lines. So the company structured itself so that each business unit operate as its own company with its own president. So the divisions which are made by the head company or the parent company, all these divisions are independent. They are not dependent other divisions. So this boosts their efficiency. Or there is another basis for division, which is geographic division. So a company may have a North American division and a European division. For example, Unilever. Unilever has an Indian Unilever division and they also have a Pakistan Unilever division. Though both the divisions belong to same parent company, yet they perform as independent, wholly owned companies with their own team, with their own boss or president. This structure also has advantages, like it helps the manager to develop several skills related to a product and facilitate managerial development. Fixation of responsibility and accountability is easy as divisional heads are responsible for the profile and loss of their division. With more initiative and flexibility, decisions are taken much faster in divisional structures, which facilitates expansion and growth as new division can be added without interrupting the existing operations. So all these are the advantages of this structure. Let's take a look at the disadvantage. 1. Conflict may arise between different divisions on allocation of funds and resources. See, since the parent company will be allocating the funds and other resources to these divisions, so in case of scarcity of resources, the division may have interdivisional conflict, which is not healthy for the organization. Because if these divisions enter into conflict, it might take a form of destructive conflict also, which will hamper the overall functionality, overall profitability, and overall efficiency of that division. 2. There is a duplication of physical facilities and function, which may lead to increase in cost. Next, greater autonomy to divisional heads may lead to misuse of authority. See, what happens is, every division has their own team, they have their own boss, they have their own CEO who will head that division. So every division will have their own style of or freedom of selecting the strategies, choosing the way how they will do business. There are chances that these division may fall prey of misuse of authority. Then managers in each division focus on their own objective without thinking of the organizational goal. So having a divisional structure may narrow down the objectivity of the overall organization. The managers in their division obviously will focus on their own objective. They will chase their own goals. Chances are there that they might not think in a big picture, and the overall organizational goal they might get deviated from. So these are the disadvantages of divisional structure. Now let's talk about the modern organizational structure. The previous structures, the traditional one, they were based upon chain of command. They were based upon a very traditional form where the power is vested with the top and delegation of authority takes place from top to bottom. But as the time changed, so are the requirement of the employees, so are the requirement of the business. So these modern organizational structure, they paid less attention to the hierarchy and top-down power arrangement. The modern organization structure is also known as contemporary organization structure, as it removes the departmental boundaries between the employees and has them work on the projects together in pursuit of the business goals. So the modern organization structures are more flexible, are more organized, and this structure helps the organization to bring all the employees together so that they work in synergy. So we can see that there is a difference between traditional and modern organization structure. The traditional organization represent the structure in a business is entirely hierarchical. All employees follow a chain of command. So here the manager is the chief coordinator of the department. But the modern organization, they are boundaryless organizations. They are networked together and they collaborate more than these traditional ones. So these modern organizations are well suited for rapid innovation and therefore ideal for companies in the growing technology industry. So its main concept is to diversify its activities and connectivity. As a result, it can accept new challenges and can set a goal frequently. Now these modern styles largely depends on soft skills, that is consensus building, relationships, listening and understanding. So the main point, if I have to sum up the difference between the traditional and modern organization structure, we can say that the main points of disagreement are, the one is stability. People believe that traditional organizations are stable in their activity and progress. On the other hand, modern one is more dynamic. They need multiple progress and constant changes. The another point of difference is flexibility. Modern organizations are more flexible and the traditional organizations are fixed. They are inflexible and they are more planned. The third point of difference could be hierarchy, as the modern organizations follow the flat hierarchy system, whereas the traditional organizations follow the tall hierarchy. Teamwork is the main concept of modern organization. On the other hand, the traditional one follow a chain of command where every employee should be obeyed to his superior. Employee morale, if we speak of employee morale, so the employee in modern organization get more freedom and flexibility to exchange his or her assessment. Traditional, on the other hand, is a job-oriented organization structure. So the employees are not sure if their morale will be taken care of. Then there are points of difference on risk management. Since traditional organization structure follow bureaucratic system, so they maintain a specific policy to protect them from any kind of risk. So employees are more educated about that matter, thus can take any step. Whereas in modern organization case, these companies are slightly braver than these traditional ones in handling risk, because they are always ready to take new challenges so that everyone here prepared to face any risk instantly. Technology can also be the point of difference between traditional and modern organization, as these modern organizations are more technology based and boundaryless, so the number of employee or the office compartment doesn't matter. But traditional organizations are centralized and backward to accept advanced technology. So though both the types have their advantages and disadvantages, yet in today's time modern organizational structures are preferred over traditional structures. So let's study these organization structure. The first one is matrix structure. So in matrix structure, it is actually a grid in which the employee with similar skill are grouped together and they report to one or more than one manager. So in this type of structure is a functional manager who oversee the project, who oversee their progress, and a product manager who is responsible for company's strategy and success. So the multinationals and large companies usually follow the matrix structure. The benefits of this type of structure is it enables the flexible work environment, foster a balanced decision making process, promote open communication and shared resources across the business. Disadvantages could be creating confusion about the authority. Since there are many managers involved, then sometimes a confusion can come as to who is authorized for a specific job. It can also hamper the budgets and resources, because tracking of budgets and resources, since it is not lined with one manager but there are several managers related, so tracking the budget and resources can be difficult. Also, it limit the efficiency of key performance indicator. Moving on to the next type is team-based structure. In such organization structure, the employees are grouped into skill-based teams to work on specific tasks while working towards a common goal. So we can see from here that the skill-based teams are prepared. So project-based organizations, they usually follow the team-based structure. This is a flexible structure which allows employee to move from one team to another as they complete the project. So you might be part of team 1 while handling project A. You might be part of team 3 while handling project Z. So the employee is moving from one team to another team. So the focus of this type of structure is on the businesses which handle problem solving and employee cooperation. Now this type of structure also has benefits like it helps in streamlining the organization process by breaking down. 2. It enables decision making power with minimal management, and it increases the flexibility by focusing on experience instead of seniority. So the more projects you have worked upon, the more team you have worked with, you are gaining more experience, and team-based structure respect and value that experience over the number of years you have worked with the organization. The potential advantage could be decreasing the organization consistency, because after every project is complete, there is a change in the team, there is a change in the team member, there is a change in the way the resources will be used. Limited contact with other functions and increased potential for conflict. So if I worked with team A and I was given a job, and when I am working for team B, I am given a different job, this might create a situation of conflict, and conflict can be triggered. The next is hierarchical structure. It is the most common structure, and it also follows a direct chain of command. So this chain of command goes from senior management to the general employees, and there are several departments which are involved. So the highest level executive has the highest power over the decision making process. So the pros are, the reporting structure is clearly defined because everyone knows who he has to report to, and individual responsibilities are very clear since the chain of command is followed here. The clear career path growth is set and it is very clear to everyone, and chain of command is there, so people know whose order they are supposed to take care of. The cons are, the disadvantage could be, it can build niche skills and specialities. Since the highest power person is telling you how to do the job, the senior management is deciding how a particular job should be done, it might hamper the innovation and creativity, and people might not get the exposure to different kind of skills since they are bound to one type of job with one type of process. Departments and teams can create a sense benefits of we are in this together. So in order to stick with everyone, many a times you may be supporting the unethical thing, you may be supporting what you do not believe as an individual. The next one is the network structure. So a network organization, basically what does it do? It outsources the independent contractor or vendors to complete the work. Here we can take the example of Delhi Metro project. So Delhi Metro project is a network organization because they involved several contractors, builders, heavy machine using companies, producing companies, and few other contractors to complete the task. So these structures join the efforts of two or more organizations to deliver one product or service. In a network organization, teams are built from full-time employees as well as freelance specialists. So you may have full-time workers, you may have temporary workers or contractual workers. This way you use the resources wisely and you take less time because you have hired the specialists and they know their work and they can finish it in time. So this approach allows the company to adapt to the market changes and obtain the missing skills fast, because if you cannot afford that skill for long, you can hire it or outsource it from outside. So the benefits of such network is it promotes organizational agility and flexibility, and it also fosters collaboration across employees. The limitations are, it breaks down the silos, it cultivates better understanding of industry products and customers, create a web of work related relationship, and create highly specialized skill sets in employees. So up till here we understood that the traditional organizational structure are also used by the companies in Indian setting, and the modern structures are also followed by the companies which are following the path of innovation and creativity and are building new type of product and service and bringing them to the market. So this is all about the organization structure designs, and let's meet in another session. Thank you.